Great guy, Zach Stevens, right here on February 3rd, tweeted out, what we learned from the Broncos today is Davis Webb has been promoted to the Broncos OC. And then Ben DiNucci quote tweets and says a couple of things. Number one, Davis promoted to OC is the best thing possible for that building. Have to assume Sean is going to give up play calling. 2, not sure if I would rather be cut or have my contract expire. 3, no airport beers this time. I live in Denver. Let's start with number 1, Ben. Why did you think that Sean was going to be giving up play calling?
Well, first things first, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. So I figured throwing something at the wall at some point, one of these tweets had to stick and it had to be right. So I'm glad that this one was sooner rather than later. But I just figured being around that building in 2023 for a full season and then getting to experience it for a couple of days during the week of the AFC Championship, I just think at this point in his career, I think Sean's got a lot of other stuff to worry about. I think he's still a great offensive mind. Obviously, his offenses have, proven themselves time and time again in terms of, quarterback play, record, offensive statistics, whatnot. But I thought the telltale sign was the fact that Davis had the opportunity to go call plays at a couple other spots. The Broncos brought him back and elevated him. So I thought that, hey, if he would have a chance to go call plays somewhere else, why the heck would he come back to Denver and not have a chance to call the plays? So I was trying not to look into it too much, but at the same time, kind of being around it for a little bit and knowing that relationship, I figured it's at some point, Sean was going to hand the keys over, and I'm glad that he ended up doing it with Davis.
Yeah, Ben, I'm also a big fan of your Twitter, so I'm going to ask you something that you also post on Twitter. You said, quote, the offense is going to look and feel different under Davis Webb. How's it going to look different as opposed to a Sean Payton offense?
I think first things first, I think the tempo is just going to be different. The play is going to have to come in faster. The offense is going to break the huddle faster. I think you're going to see Bo having some more time to get to the line of scrimmage, operate, and kind of get guys in the right spot. I think so, and this is not a knock against Sean at all, but some of his play calls are very wordy. And when you have wordy play calls mixed with trying to jump formations every single play from 11 to personnel to 13 to 22, you've only got 25 seconds on the shot clock. And I think sometimes simplifying it sometimes is the way to go. And I think you're going to see a noticeable difference just in terms of the tempo and just the speed that the offense gets to the line of scrimmage with.
Yeah.
What's up, Ben? First of all, I want to let you know I sold a hat for you the other day because I have a friend whose last name is Dukes. And you came out with those new JMU hats, and I sent them. I was like, "You got to have one of these." So,
love it.
You're welcome for that.
Your commission check will be in the mail in 7 days.
Thank you. Second of all, what can you tell us about the relationship between Davis and Bo Nix and kind of how that's blossomed over the last couple of years?
So I can only speak kind of as a fly on the wall. When Bo got hurt before the AFC Championship, he was around, but he wasn't really part of meetings. He was doing some rehab stuff in the training room and whatnot. But I will say that Davis is the one who has essentially run the quarterback room 2023, 2024, in this past season in 2025. Sean would kind of jump in time and time again and say, hey, here's what I'm thinking on third down, or, hey, if we get this play, I'm wanting it for this coverage. But Davis was the one who ran that room. He was the personality in the room. And I think guys, at least myself, gravitated towards that because that's just like having another player in the room. He's 31 years old. I'm 29. Bo is 26. Stidham's my age. So to have a guy that went right from playing and being in the same position as us to now in the room as the coach, I think was really refreshing. And it almost felt like, hey, this isn't a coach. This is a guy we can lean on. Just football on the field, off the field. He gets it. He's been there. Because I hate to say it, sometimes some of these coaches are older. The game's changed. The positions changed. And I think you've got to, act a certain way around different guys. And I think Davis does a really good job of using his personality and doing a good job of interacting with everybody.
What's up, Ben? So we hear a lot about like Davis being a special coach or he's a genius, and you get all these like reports from all the national guys saying he's the next big thing. When you spend time with him, what stands out? Like what makes him unique compared to, what makes his mind special compared to some of the other coaches you've been around?
First things first, I won't hold that hat against you, considering that brand, who I won't name, ripped off our upside down Dallas. You
need to start making Montana hats. This is a sign that you need. There's a market for Montana hats.
Yeah, I guess there's a market for everything. But But back to your question, I'm not even sure what the question was. Sorry, I just when I see someone upside down on the hat, it makes me tick.
As it should. I was like looking this morning.
Maybe
trying
take
to like,
the hat off the rest of the interview.
No, we just need more Montana
Might look better
hats.
backwards, honestly.
Okay, we could go with backwards. Okay, we can agree on backwards. Yep.
There we go.
There we go.
Now
There
you
we
can
go.
see.
Now you can
clearly.
listen
No,
to
but
you.
there are only like 3 companies that make hats from Montana. So when they do it, you gotta buy in.
That's fair. I'll let it slide.
Pitch it. We need that Montana hat. Yeah, but what makes Davis, like, what about his mind stands out? Like, is he actually different compared to others? Like, is there a level there that's unique?
Yes, I'll say this at the most basic way of understanding. I've had numerous people over the last 12 months ask me, hey, is coaching something you would want to get into? You seem like you've got a good pulse on what's going on. And I always say no. And here's why. When I saw Davis Webb for the first time and I went into his office and we get to talking and he's like, dude, these are all my binders from growing up, middle school football, high school football, college, every note he's ever taken, every coach he's ever come across with. He would have spreadsheets of offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, special teams coordinators. Here's guys in college that I think are going to be good. The attention to detail was something that I hadn't seen before. And you can kind of just tell when you're around a guy like, man, this dude is going to be a good coach. He's thorough. He's punctual. It's no BS, makes things very black and white. And I think I appreciated that, especially coming from the Cowboys where it wasn't always like that. And some of these other teams aren't always like that. So being around Davis and getting to experience that, I was like, man, there's a reason this dude got into the position that he did so fast and had the success playing. And I think now is going to have the same level of success coaching.
Ben, I got a question now. So you've been in the quarterback room. You've been playing in the NFL for a while. I want you to insert yourself back into this room now. And now that Davis will be removing himself from the quarterback position or quarterback coach position and now into the OC role. You talked about how you would lean on him, Bo would lean on him in terms of he's just another one of the guys. You said he was, very black and white when it comes to telling you things. How do you think the dynamic now changes with him now being the offensive coordinator and there's now a lot more on his plate?
I'm not sure it's going to change much other than the fact that his day-to-day responsibilities are going to be a lot different. Previously, it was, all right, Sean comes into the offensive meeting, guys, here's the install for the day. Each position coach go and install it with your position group. I think now it'll almost be Davis kind of saying, all right, guys, here's what is going in. Logan Kilgore, who is now the quarterback coach, I think will have a little bit more of a say in the quarterback room. Davis will still be in the quarterback room, I'm assuming, because Joe Lombardi was in it for the last couple of years, and Davis kind of ran it still. So I would assume that it's going to be Davis and Logan Kilgore kind of tandem running that room. But I think Davis's day-to-day responsibilities are going to look a lot different in terms of he's got 3 guys that he's responsible of getting ready to play, meaning QB1, QB2, and QB3. He's now got a whole offense to worry about, a whole offensive personalities, a whole coaching staff that is directly going to be looking at him at, hey, on this power, we might have ran it this way last year, but how do you want the left guard to pull on this play? Or how do you want the cadence to sound on X, Y, Z? I think there's just going to be little nuances that I think to the average eye, people aren't going to see right away. But over the course of a season, I think Davis's inflection and in touch on this offense, I think is really going to be cool.
You just mentioned Logan Kilgore. Can you, because he's someone that like just Broncos country doesn't know anything about. You've been around him for a little bit. Can you just give us some insight on what he brings to this quarterback room? Because Sean seemed pretty pumped to have him as the quarterback coach.
Yeah, I think Logan either coached or played for Sean right when he came out of college in New Orleans as well. And I think Logan might have went to the CFL for a couple years and then landed back with Sean in Denver in 2023 when I was there for the first time. But obviously they promoted him for a reason. Another guy that has a personality. I think quarterbacks in general, everyone, you've just got to have a different personality. You've got to be able to interact with guys. You got to be able to interact with coaches. And so getting to see him interact with the tight end room the last couple of years, and now I think shifting over to the quarterback room, I think is going to be seamless for him. He played the position, so it's not like one of these guys that are just jumping into a running back room or an O-line room and they were a defensive guy in college or whatnot. So I think his fingerprints along with Davis, I think it's going to be a unique kind of 1-2 punch in that quarterback room. I think Bo's going to enjoy it. I think Stidham's going to enjoy it. And I'm kind of butthurt now that I'm not going to get to enjoy it next year.
Well, I don't know. I just got to follow up. Hey, do you still want to play? How are you feeling? Would you want to be back with the Broncos, another team? Where are you at right now with your career?
Well, if you guys followed up on number 2 of my tweet from a couple weeks ago, my contract expired. And so I'm not even sure. I wasn't even sure that was possible. I thought you had to always get cut. Nonetheless, yeah. I mean, I live in Denver. I'm in Highlands Ranch. This is ideally at this point in my career, I'm kind of over the bounce around from team to team, be a QB3, QB4. If a team's not going to give me a legit chance to compete for a backup or a third quarterback spot on the active roster, I've got a lot going on outside of football now that I've very much enjoyed the transition the last couple months, and I'm going to be calling college games in the booth next year. So I think what I'm going to do, honestly, at this point is if a team needs me for the AFC Championship or NFC Championship, I think I'll make my services available. But anything other than that, not worth it.
That's awesome. Well, you'll have to come down and hang out with us here a little bit more.
Yeah, where are you guys?
We're right in Denver, like East Colfax.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Now I forgot what I was. Sean Payton now is one of 2 coaches to have won 14 games 3 times. The other being Bill Belichick. What do you think makes him so successful?
I think any coach at that level, to get to a certain level of success, I think you've got to be somewhat crazy, right? And people have been asking me this the last couple months about Curt Cignetti too, the Indiana head coach who was my senior year coach when I was at JMU, kind of the same thing. What makes him different? I think all of these guys, and I've been lucky to be around a couple of them. Mike McCarthy, Super Bowl winner when I was on the Cowboys. Sean Payton, Sean McDermott in Buffalo, who's had a bunch of success, and Curt Cignetti in college. I think the insane attention to detail and being so routine oriented every single day, I think the compounding effect of showing up, doing your job, knowing what's expected of you every single day from player 1 to player 80 on the team, I think makes it really easy for guys to buy in. Look, Sean's training camps aren't easy. His in-seasons aren't easy, but when you have a chance to win a Super Bowl and go to the playoffs every year, I think guys would take that over the opposite and not making the playoffs or not having a chance to be good at the end of the season. Because I've been telling guys the last couple of weeks too, like I've been out for a majority of the last 12 months. And that was the closest I've ever been to a Super Bowl in my, call it 5 or 6 years of playing. My couple years in Dallas, we lost in the first round of the playoffs, didn't make the playoffs. And then 2023 in Denver didn't make the playoffs. So to get thrown back into that environment, to be around it again, it was really cool. And to be able to help those guys try to win an AFC Championship and get to a Super Bowl was awesome. But ultimately, I think the Super Bowl didn't want me anywhere near it. So it was probably for the better.
I'm curious. I want to go back to that AFC Championship game because I felt like Jarrett was like seeing the field well. He was finding the receivers. Receivers were open, and the beginning of the game, he just missed a couple of throws. He could have been like he was smiling, like laughing. You could see it on the camera that he knew he could make those. And to me, it felt like it just was going to take him a couple series to settle in. And by the time he got settled, it was a blizzard, and so the passing game dried up. Do you think I'm crazy in thinking that like it just kind of the rust over the course of 3 months had built up, and it took a little bit to knock it off, and he was going to be that guy?
No, I don't think you're crazy at all. And I think that's part of the reason that I tell people like, hey, you don't understand. Sometimes being a backup in the NFL is much harder than being an actual starter because mentally you've got to all be there. You're getting the mental reps. You've got to be up to date on the checks, the kills, the game plan, kind of what the defense is running. You've got to be at 100% mental capacity without getting 100% of the practice reps during the week. So in a way it's tough. And for Stidham, his first action before that was the preseason. And I know, granted, he played really well, probably the best out of anybody in the NFL, but you can't compare week 3, week 4 of the preseason to the AFC Championship. It's a different speed. It's a different level of ball that's being played. Now, I don't think he played bad by any stretch of the imagination. I just think from a fan's point of view, like the margin of error in the NFL is so small, and sometimes a couple plays can really change games. And I look at the couple turnovers and then the 4th and 1 call that I thought we should have taken the points. I thought at that point in the game to go up 2 possessions, they hadn't really done much on offense. And then obviously, the weather came in the second half. Hindsight's always 20/20, but just from my point of view and where we were at that point in the game, I thought should have probably taken the points there.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Ben, last question for me. I think this is going to be a smooth transition just like you, I played in this offense in 2020. I really understand what it's like. I can understand all the personnels. You know, he goes from 60 personnels down to 40, you know, but there is a lot. But I think this transition with Davis is going to be smooth. With that being said, throw out a prediction right now in terms of Bo passing touchdowns for 2026.
What do you have this year? 29 or did he have 30 this year? How many do you have this year?
Late 20s, yeah.
Let's say I'm going to say with the guys that Davis has been around at Texas Tech, at Cal, and the NFL, let's give I'm going to go 33 touchdowns next year for Bo.
Let's go.
That's not running.
I'd sign up for that right now. Ben, my last one for you. Really appreciate the time. I also mentioned on your Twitter, you said Tyler Algier. You want the Broncos to go after him, or you think the Broncos will go after him. One of those two. Why? Why do you think he'd be a good fit here?
I think his name is the one that people have been throwing around, and then the other one is Breece Hall, right? I mean, those are the two that are kind of the free agent backs right now that I think are going to have a lot of attention from teams. I think you look at J.K. Dobbins and kind of what he brought to this offense last year. I think Tyler Algier is kind of that times a couple, right? And a guy who's got some fresh legs. His rookie year ran for 1,000 yards before Bijan got there, and then this year had over 500 yards and 8 touchdowns. I think that's a young guy that if you pair with R.J. Harvey, totally different backs, kind of the Montgomery Gibbs style that we saw the last couple of years in Detroit. I think if you put a guy like Tyler Algier in this offense, it should cause some problems. It would be fun to watch for a lot of Sundays and a lot of Broncos fans.
Then let's hope the Broncos are re-signing you right before Super Bowl. And
I can play running back if they need me to, too. I've gained 50 pounds. I'd find a way to make it work.
Ben, appreciate you, man. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, Ben.
Thank you, guys. Have a great week.
Thanks,
you
Ben.
too, man. Thanks.
Man, awesome insight from Ben there. I'm looking forward to breaking it down with you guys. Let's do that coming up next.